Hello everyone and welcome to Tech Info. This is a new channel that I'm starting. This is a channel where we discuss tech and cybersecurity related issues. In this video, I kind of just wanted to go over what exactly cybersecurity is, the different types of definitions that people define cybersecurity as, and the actual in-depth look at cybersecurity. And then I also want to discuss how you guys can protect your data. I kind of wanted to show you how hackers can steal or confiscate your data from you and how they literally do it with the tools that they use, so you guys can be better aware on how to protect yourself from these attacks. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and this is a new channel, so please, if you have any feedback that you'd like to give, comment it down below. If you have any video ideas or anything that you'd like to see, let me know. But yeah, let's hop into this video. The first issue that I wanted to discuss on this channel, especially with the crisis in Ukraine and Russia right now, with the war, is cybersecurity importance and what you guys need to do to stay protected. First off, you guys need to understand what cybersecurity is. A lot of people don't really understand what it is. I tried to ask my girlfriend earlier what she thought cybersecurity was, and she told me that the idea she had in her head, or the visual, was either somebody attacking a company somehow with numbers to protect them, and then also just the IT guy at school. And, I feel like that's a lot of everyone's impressions of what cybersecurity is or what people do in cybersecurity. But really, it is a way more massive field. Not only the people working in it, but what the idea of cybersecurity is. There's a lot of different fields in cybersecurity and a lot of different concepts and ideas. But to get the basics out there, the main idea of cybersecurity is protecting not only your data, your physical security, your mindset of cybersecurity. Because if you own any type of business out there, not only small businesses, a large business, any type of business, you are at risk for losing your data. There's no other way to put it. To kind of put this into perspective, I'm currently going to college and we're working on a project right now where we have to sell the idea of network defense for cybersecurity. And a lot of the questions we get, or a lot of what I see, is, okay, I guess I understand what you're doing. You're trying to protect our network, and I understand how you're trying to do it, testing the systems, making sure they're not vulnerable, everything like that, and I'll get further into that later in this video. But a lot of people don't understand exactly what we do, and that gets them lost in the idea of what cybersecurity even is. Cybersecurity isn't just protecting your data, it's the mindset of protecting your data. It's not only you, it's others that do it for a job. It's everyone. Everyone is involved in cybersecurity. If you don't take action, you could be at risk. If you have information online, unfortunately, that is vulnerable. Before we get too far in depth discussing everything about cybersecurity, I wanted to show you a quick picture of what cybersecurity actually is. If you guys take a look here, here's a quick little graph basically explaining it. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity involves protecting an entire ecosystem. People, physical space. When we talk about people and physical space, we talk about, let's throw out a what if. What if somebody came into your business and they didn't necessarily belong there, but you didn't really notice? Say they're carrying boxes in through an open door. That is a breach of physical security. Then they could also be breaching physical space in terms of people ecosystems. So they could be snooping over your shoulder at desks and checking what you're typing. They could be looking at desks to see if somebody has passwords written somewhere. Any information they can gather about the network, what's plugged into the ports on the walls, if they can plug something into the ports on the walls. That is all physical security. USB drives, not a lot of people think about that either. USB drives is another form of physical security. When we talk about people, we usually talk about phishing emails. Now, I'm going to dive further into this in a minute, but phishing emails can be very dangerous to a company. Basically, if you click on a link, you are connecting to somebody on the outside instead of them connecting to you, which pretty much allows them full access to everything you're doing. But we'll talk about that later. But that's also people. So you need to really make sure that your staff and you are informed and you know what's going on, especially right now. When we talk about technology, obviously, this is what most people think of cybersecurity. It's protecting computers, data systems, infrastructures like banks, government facilities, everything like that. Now, I've explained cybersecurity to you, but how do you know that affects you? What is a situation where you can be affected? Well, there is lots of different types of examples. Let me show you a website here. Here's an article. This is off Bleeping Computer. In light of the Russian-Ukraine war, there was a gas station hit by a Hive ransomware. Now, if you don't know what ransomware is, basically it is a software made to infiltrate a network, usually after what I've discussed previously, where somebody clicks a link and allows somebody into their computer. They will deploy ransomware where it basically steals all your files, sends it to the hacker, locks all of them or encrypts all of them, and gives you a message saying that you have to pay a fine in order to get your locked files back. That's basically the idea of ransomware. But as you can see here, there's a gas station that has been hit by a ransomware attack. Now, you may be thinking, maybe they don't have the proper cybersecurity, maybe they don't have the right defenses on these systems, but they're demanding $2 million in ransom for these gas station systems. If that doesn't scare you enough, let's look at recently there's been a hacking group in light of this war. Before I get too far into all these articles, I kind of want to describe a few terms. There's one term called threat actors. Now, threat actors are what we call the people that try to attack your network or are a possible threat in a cyber attack. Now, there is threat actors and there is state actors, and state level hackers and state level actors they have the ability to pretty much take over your entire network. There's not really anything we can do about it. There's several governments out there that have state level hackers that have the ability to pretty much wipe out an entire network if they wanted to. They have the computing capabilities and the tools to do so. I'm talking, the United States government, Ukraine, Russia, China, all these main countries that have cybersecurity are going to have state-level hackers. These state-level hackers do have the ability to break into anything. So now that we've discussed what they have the abilities to do, let's dive back into this article where they literally are talking about how hackers stole Galaxy devices source code. If you don't know what source code is, it's basically the developing code of a phone or system, I guess. The source code would be of a Galaxy device, but it's of the system. Now, they've breached confidential code about the trusted applets on devices and trust zones. And obviously this is all jargon that not many people will understand, but they have stolen the information that should be kept to the utmost security when it comes to these things. And it's not necessarily that they have gotten access to customers' data, even though they have stated that they did. I don't believe they actually did, but that doesn't change the fact that they have access to the code that could probably get them into these customers' data. And it's not just Samsung. There is so many different companies right now that are getting hacked to. This group alone, Lapsus, however you pronounce this group, they have literally hacked into about 5 different groups recently. If we look at this article that was uploaded today, actually, a couple hours ago, Ubisoft confirmed cybersecurity incident and it resets their staff's passwords because it was hacked by, guess what? The same exact group. And they've also hacked Samsung, Nvidia, Mercado Libre, And there's probably many more that they have hacked into that they haven't told us about yet. These state level hackers have the ability to hack into these systems. In this article here, if you own a small business or you own any type of hardware that is plugged into a battery backup, well, now if it's an APC battery backup, now there are 0-day bugs on these battery backups to burn out the devices and disable their power. The level of attacks that are happening right now are insane. And I'm only telling you all of this to stress the idea that you guys need to get on your cybersecurity. Maybe you don't know what cybersecurity is. So let's see. What would the basic ideas of cybersecurity be? You need to create stronger, longer passwords and change them more often. I'm talking about maybe passphrases, not just names. Don't put your birthday. Don't put a common number that you use on all of your accounts. Don't be sharing your information to anyone that you don't know online. You may get text messages from random scammers over the phone or phone calls stating that somebody has stolen your social security number and they are the government and they need to check. None of that is real. It is people trying to scam you out of your information, because in today's society, your data is worth more than you. If you're talking about Facebook's metaverse, for example, they are taking scanned images of your face. They're collecting your data on not only Facebook, Instagram, I believe TikTok, possibly. I'm not sure what all partner companies Facebook owns or has, but we're talking so many different websites. They are the #1 data collector on social media. They know so much about you and all of your interests. Who's to say that they don't build a virtual version of you for themselves? Who's to say that in the near future they that we aren't all just virtual creations, and that's how the human race continues out? I'm not trying to say any conspiracies, but there's a lot of different possibilities, and in today's society that is worth more than the idea of a human being, which is scary to me. I don't know if it is to you, but that's why, again, I'm stressing the urgency of your cybersecurity. Here's a couple more articles that I wanted to share with you that I found the other day. Russia, China, Belarus state hackers target Ukraine and Europe. So again, what I was saying, these threat actors, state hackers, state level hackers, are targeting different countries right now because of this war. They discuss that the Russian government shared a list of 17,000 IP addresses. Now, if you don't know what an IP address is, it is a online identifier or number that usually consists of 4 different octets of 3 numbers in a row. I'll put an example up on the screen, but basically this is a online identifier for your devices. Now, these numbers can change, but depending on where you are and where you're at and what time and what all is online, these numbers can usually be tracked down. Now, hackers usually disguise these by passing them through several different servers, basically making it impossible to track. Again, 17,000 different IP addresses have been attacking Russia. A DDoS attack is a distributed denial of service attack, which basically is a large group of networking devices that are attacking one set IP address in an attempt to flood the network with a lot of traffic and basically overload the system and shut it down. This has been accomplished many times, and actually, if we take a look at this, there is a new record-breaking amplification vector for these attacks. Now, when we're talking about, like, I don't know, 2010, 12 years ago, a DDoS attack, you'd send maybe 100 to 500 megabytes of data. Now, if you don't know what that is, a small, maybe 1 to 2 minute video on your phone is probably going to be in the 300 to 500 megabyte range. So that kind of gives you an idea. Now, DDoS attacks were that big back then. If we look at this report now, there is findings that the single largest observed attack was approximately 53 million packets. Now, Again, a DDoS attack is somebody sending network packets that are fake to overload a system. 53 million packets per second at 23 gigabits per second. This lasted for approximately 5 minutes. Now, if you don't get the idea of how massive that is, I don't even know how to put that into proportions for you, but that could shut down pretty much any network right now. And obviously there's protections against these types of attacks that have been developed now, but you know, with the heightened tensions that there are now and the society that we live in, everything is data based and a lot's going online. Coronavirus, everyone switched to online virtual meetings. There has been a lot of increased attacks, not only on the individual but companies in general. I work as a network administrator and I work at an aerospace business. I saw a jump of general attacks go up from around like 50 a day to like 100 a day when the war broke out, and it's holding kind of steady. It's slowing down a little bit, but there's a lot more attacks going on because of these heightened tensions. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, the idea of cybersecurity is to have a good hacker and a non-malicious hacker to support you and defend you by hacking into your system and fixing those vulnerabilities for your system. Red hat hackers are the ones that are bad. They hack into you and steal your information. Where this comes into play is that with heightened tensions, all of these red hat hackers are seeing all these DDoS attacks. There's the sanctions on Russia right now, so Russia's been getting attacked by pretty much everyone. They're getting DDoSed by name brand companies. So that gives everyone the incentive or the idea, or at least these malicious evil hackers, the idea that they can just attack anything they want to right now. I also just want to discuss what exactly you need to do to better protect yourself. Now, I went into this a little bit, but I want to hop into it a little bit more. Change your passwords. Put symbols and characters in them. Make them longer. Use passphrases. Don't use common names. Don't use your dog's name, your daughter or son's name. Anything that's online that is sensitive to you and that you've made visible that is sensitive, a hacker is going to find. One of the first steps that a hacker takes is open source intelligence research, or we call it OSINT, and basically they're going to find any type of information that is publicly available about you online, and then they're going to try to target that attack specifically at you. So please try not to put any of your information online, at least to your comfortability extent. I'm not going to tell you what you shouldn't do with your information, but I want to at least help advise you what you should do with your information. And my advisal would be to keep it offline as much as possible. Secure your passwords. Don't write your passwords in note documents. Use a password vault or application on your computer that is trusted. I use Bitwarden for my passwords personally. Also, use an antivirus software on your computer. Please, for the love of all things glorious, do not use Norton or McAfee or whatever you want to call it. Please do not use either of those. They come pre-installed on most computers and they suck. They slow your computer down and they really don't find as many viruses as possible. I recommend Malwarebytes, but that's my personal opinion. You can choose any, really, but not those two, please. To continue, use antivirus software, secure your physical security, remove all your personal information online if possible. Now, there's some websites you can go to check if you have had your information leaked anywhere. One of these being Have I Been Pwned? I'm just typing in a test email, but if you type in an email, you can scroll down and see what that email has been compromised in. So this is a good way to see if you have been involved in any data breaches involving your email and what all has happened to it. You can see like there's Chegg, database breaches, a lot of things happen without a lot of people really finding out, because if you're a big cybersecurity, or if you're a big company in general, why would you want to advertise to your customers that you possibly breached some of their data? Not a lot of small businesses are going to say that to you. We had at my job a company that got breached recently, and I found out before they even notified anyone about it, and we actually ended up notifying them of what had happened, and they got back to us and they said, "Oh yeah, we're fully aware and we were going to send out a notification about it," but they didn't really tell us until we asked about it. That maybe gives you an idea of some of the companies out there that don't take their cybersecurity seriously. This isn't just a personal thing. This is companies that need to improve their cybersecurity as well. I work for a cybersecurity business as well, and the entire idea of this business is securing the entire network and as many networks as possible under one central company. So we have the most secure and control way of storing their information and keeping their data safe while keeping their networks and physical and personal security safe as well. Now that we have discussed cybersecurity a little bit, I kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about what cybersecurity hackers will do. Here, I am on a virtual computer, Kali Linux computer. This is, so if you think about it, Windows is a operating system and Linux is a operating system, just like Mac OS would be an operating system. This is a variation of the Linux operating system. It is used for hacking, but as you can see here, there is a lot of different applications. AirCrack NG for cracking Wi-Fi passwords. There is, I mean, there's really, this tool is made to have pretty much everything. If you look here, there's vulnerability analysis tools, web application analysis tools, database tools, password attack tools. Popular one is Ncrack. There's also wordless. Basically what hackers will do when they steal your information online, another reason why you shouldn't have it is they sell it online. So not only when these ransomware attacks happen are companies stealing your information, say a hacking group like the ones named previously in those articles, they will take your information and not only try to get money out of you, but they will try to get money online on the dark web. They will go, and if you don't know what the dark web is, it's basically a different internet platform that is anonymized in a way. It's kind of difficult to explain. I don't really want to get too far into it, but they use different types of website pages known as Tor pages. They'll sell it on these Tor websites and make money that way by selling your information to other people who will then go and turn around and use them on word lists, where they take your common usernames and passwords, put them into a word list, and they'll run a tool like this known as Ncrack, and they will literally run usernames and passwords through a list and try to sign into an account on any type of website or anywhere online, and eventually, usually, they can crack your password in a matter of a couple minutes. If it's a larger state level hacker, they have way stronger machines that could probably crack it in several seconds. But again, there's all types of attacks. There's wireless attacks, reverse engineering, which is what I kind of wanted to explain what phishing is. So reverse engineering is basically making an application that allows you to sign in to the computer and do anything with that computer remotely, which is away from the computer. You can access it, see everything that it's doing, access the camera, move the mouse, look up different things, delete files, the whole nine yards. You could do anything with that computer. You basically make a file and you send it in the form of a phishing link. And when somebody gets an email that's targeted towards them because a hacker used open source intelligence and let's say somebody lost their dog 3 days ago and they posted it on Facebook, and somebody sends them a Facebook message, and it's not somebody you know. They seem a little fishy. Their Facebook profile looks like a generic Google picture maybe, and but they send you a message and they're like, "Hey, I found your dog at the pound. Click this link, and I think it's the ad for your dog." You end up clicking that link, and guess what? It's not actually what you think it is. It may redirect you to a link, but maybe it's not your dog, and maybe it doesn't redirect you to where you think it does. It takes you to the web page that you clicked on, but it also inadvertently behind the scenes gave the hacker access to your computer because you clicked the link. Now, like what I said before, they have access to everything. That's basically what reverse engineering is. And the reason it's reversed, it's called a backdoor into the system, is because when you are attacking a network, there's things known as firewalls that usually block a lot of these threats that are listed here. But like what I said earlier, that the threats are coming in on the list, that's the threat list where I get attacked. People run things like Nmap, where you can scan a network and see what ports are open and closed. And this is a common tool that a lot of attackers use to just see if there's any vulnerabilities on a network. If they see that a port's open, maybe they can get access to it and find a way into the network. And once you get in, you can do pretty much anything. So to give you guys just a little example, if a hacker were to find your IP address, they could use a tool known as Nmap, like I explained previously. This tool basically scans your network for any type of vulnerabilities. So basically, if I wanted to, I could do a quick scan here. So let's just do an Nmap-SL. And it's going to scan and find nothing because I'm not connected to anything right now. But usually it would scan through a list and find addresses that look similar to these, like an IP address that I listed earlier. And it will try to find any ports that are open. It can detect if it has a certain type of operating system, what type of attacks you could possibly run. You can do a ping scan. You can specify a DNS server to use. Now, all these may sound like buzzwords to you, but there's a lot that can go into it. Now, I know I have discussed a lot in this video. I don't want to get too much more in depth, but I just want to end it here. Please, please try to improve your guys' cybersecurity, especially right now. There's a lot of threats going around, a lot of malicious applications on phones, on computers, and links, on social media apps, websites, everywhere. It's everywhere. Hopefully this will get better. People in the cybersecurity industry are working to protect you guys right now and always will be. So we are fighting a losing battle on the good side, but we're always trying to stay up with the bad side. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to keep your information safe and stay safe.